I don't really reflect too much on that, but I guess it's probably a combination of styles. Probably the fact that I'm more of a collaborative leader than I am necessarily a kind of out and out, lead and all others follow kind of person. We often joke and talk about benevolent dictatorship. I think that's probably the right way to sum it up, is that there's a measure of, we lead, but we hope that our team follows us because they believe in what we're doing rather than because we say they should. So that's probably the combination of it. And I think also just leading by example has for me always been the strongest thing that one can set in your leadership style, is that if you do as you say, then people will respect that and follow accordingly. I think where it breaks down is when people don't get that part. They feel that they're being asked to do stuff that isn't being demonstrated in the leadership. So yeah, hopefully that captures it. I was actually trained in human resource management. So I was going to become a labor HR person, which is quite odd really. To be honest, somebody suggested that I would be good. That was really the long and the short of it. And I met Bob Rightford at the time, and I was traveling around Europe, and I met him in London, and he said to me, come and have an interview. And that's really as simple as it was. I went and had an interview with him and some of the management at Ogilvy and Mather, as it was then. And then snowballed from there. That's why I got in. I'd never really thought of it as a career. I clearly was involved in or excited by people management, so hence the HR qualification, but I had never really trained formally. I think I'd done one course in marketing and that was it. So I was not someone who had it in my blood from a young age or had expressed an interest in doing it. It really was by chance. We won it before we were even established, which is quite nice. And we were, when Al and I kind of teamed up, I was very concerned initially that we didn't have a piece of business, and I was, at the time, feeling like we needed to cement that. And so I'd worked for Gilbey's in my previous life, and we knew the new management at Gilbey's, and we heard that there was a piece of business that was loose, potentially loose. And so Al and I took a trip out to Stellenbosch, and we met with what was then Gary May and Mike Jabert, who were the MD and marketing director respectively, and we pitched ourselves and our vision for a startup to them, and on that basis they awarded us a small portfolio of brands. So in fact they even asked us in the meeting what we would call ourselves, and we hadn't even named ourselves at that particular point in time. And we only named ourselves, we threw around names in the car on the way home to try and kind of find in fact that's where Al came up with KingJames. On the way home we were in the car traveling back from Stellenbosch. So yeah, that's how we won it. We won it purely off, I guess, our own reputations and the faith and trust of people who had worked with us previously and who knew us. And yeah, the rest was kind of, as it happened. No, we're not grown up and don't want to be for a while.